Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Guidance with Gab. I'm deciding to do these little intros now just to give you guys kind of like an idea of what to expect from the conversations that I have. Today I had on Lauri Poldre, who is a fantastic photographer. He says he's a beginner, but I don't believe it. It looks so good. He does sound healing and his music is so like soul warming, if I could call it one thing. He's such a genuine person to talk to. The conversation flowed very easily. And one of the biggest takeaways from this that I've had anyway is understanding that a lot of decisions are very simple. If we're trying to decide which frequency to choose, there's so much information out there. But all we have to do is turn our attention inward. Does it feel good? Do we like it? Yes. Great, we're going to go for it. No, we don't. Okay, we won't. And I think a lot of times in the world that we're living in now, there's so much going on that we get a little frazzle-dazzled, and it's hard to kind of make a decision and figure out what's right and what's wrong. But the answers of right or wrong just come from within anyway. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode as much as I have. And yeah, go enjoy. Today we have on Lauri Poldre, a sound healing facilitator, Reiki Master, and a clarity coach. I've been listening to some of your beats and all that cool stuff, and I'm super excited to talk to you. You also have such cool visuals on your Instagram. So are you a photographer as well?
Yes, just a beginner, but I've been doing it for a couple of years. Yeah, true.
Just a beginner. You look like an expert. It all looks really, really
Thanks.
good. So just reading up on your website and everything, I know that you worked a real like businessy job. So what kind of brought you into the world of sound healing?
Yeah, so it was all by accident. In 2014, I had been in the business and mostly sales and marketing for over 10 years. And I just couldn't find a way how to calm my mind down. It's just overthinking and anxiety and sadness and everything. And it's just lots of like thinking, when you're like in sales and business development job, you just need to plan and execute and strategy and everything. So, and then my girlfriend at that time suggested me to go to Hawaii, to Big Island, for just 10 days to take some time off and just be in solitude.
Yeah.
And I went there like just by myself and just somehow like the combination crystal sound came to me just out of nothing, out of blue. Crystal sound, and I was driving around the island and it's just so beautiful and like nature and like everything, the heart connection and stuff.
Yeah.
I was not aware of it. I just the crystal sound like downloaded into my mind, and I went back to my business job and worked for another year, and then I finally had like a mental breakdown. It was just too much, and I had enough savings and stock options and stuff, so I decided to take some time off. The rest is history. I came across sound healing and some sound healers and singing bowls and tried something, and it really worked for me. So, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you got out of it because I know so many people right now that are still in that space of doing something that isn't fulfilling them, So I think that's awesome that you found your way out and that it came to sound bowls because you're really good at what you do.
Oh,
and it's magical that it fuels your soul, but also has like a magical gift to it. So yeah, that's super awesome. So how do you incorporate sound into like your everyday kind of lifestyle, or if you do?
Yeah. So I'm actually personally doing sound meditations every morning. So it's like my morning practice, and it's nothing complicated. It's just one singing bowl and just chiming a few times. That's enough. So there's like it doesn't need to be like an hour-long sound bath or like something really extensive. It just can be like something very subtle and simple, and that's already like doing miracles.
Yeah. How do you think that it's changed your life emotionally and mentally, and even physically? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the main part is that it has just helped me to release everything, like all the concepts and all the attachments and the emotional baggage and the trauma and everything. So it has probably worked something like has done something in the background I'm not even aware of, but I just feel lighter. I feel like it's much easier to navigate and to have like every day, like there's like no this no dense, heavy feelings weighing down. So I think
Yeah.
that's the main, benefit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you do it in the mornings, you're creating the sounds for yourself, or do you
Yeah.
listen to things you've already made?
I'm listening also to others, and not every day. I'm not doing it like with the singing bowl. Sometimes I just listen to ocean sounds and like
Mm,
some birds and waves and something. But it's I don't prefer actually music, because
mm,
music, like singing, it has like emotion behind it and lots of layers and instruments and words and
mhm,
lyrics. So I prefer actually non like instrumental music instead.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I was gonna ask you. Like, why are we so emotionally connected to music? Why do you think that is?
I think it just connects us more, and there's this joy and celebration, and music is always played at big events and like birthdays and
Mhm,
gatherings and like Olympic games, and the music has been a really big part of human history. But I think it's also like there are lots of like negative lyrics, and
mhm,
just we need to be aware of it. And for example, I've noticed that when I listen to, sometimes I listen to like music from the 60s or 70s or in the 80s, like it's just not as fresh as something like from the 2000s or like even
mhm.
late 90s. So it's very different, and yeah, I prefer like modern music and more instrumental.
Yeah, yeah. I've been thinking about the emotional side to it lately because when I work out, sometimes I'll be playing like, that loud, heavy
Yeah,
music, and it feels good in the moment because it's fueling what I need it for. But once I'm out of that space, I'm like, okay, no, I don't want it anymore. Like it kind of
yeah,
feels like it seeps into me a little bit.
yeah.
And I don't like it. So I've definitely transitioned my music, and I would say I'm straying away from like the lyrical side as well. I listen to like I don't know if you probably know what it is, like yoga dubstep. So it's more like, yeah, I've been really liking that lately, and I feel like it speaks like to like the rhythm of me more than the other stuff that I used to listen to.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
and on your website, you did a lot of explaining of like the science behind it, which I think is really important for people to understand when they look inward and they're like, what, how could sound actually heal all of this? Like what's going on? So what is sound?
So yeah, sound is a vibration. It's a wave, and it only works in when there's like atmosphere or like liquid or something. It's not working in the vacuum in the outer space.
Mhm,
And sound is a vibration, and there are like different frequencies and different wavelengths. And when we are exposed to sound, like any kind of sound, it affects us mentally and emotionally and on the body level and also spiritually. So it's like it's actually working on multiple levels, and yeah, it's really doing miracles. So it's one of the most important tools what we have these days.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say the benefits of a sound bath are?
Well, mostly it just purifies and calms you down, because the mind has been really active, like in modern society, and people are thinking and planning and executing and everything. And sound bath is more like it's like a shower. Like we go
Mhm,
to shower with our body to clean the body, but we should also clean the mind. And
mhm,
when mind is calm, like miracles can happen, like manifestations and like intuition starts to work and everything. We start to notice like subtleties. So I think that's the main part, that we really need to calm down the mind, and sound bath is a perfect place for that. Just calming and purifying and like just purifying everything.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've one of the places I used to work at, we would do sound baths with Reiki sessions, and it was just like next level vibes all over. So do you combine your services? Like, do you sometimes do a Reiki and a meditation with the sound healing, or do you kind of keep them separate?
Yeah, no, I haven't personally done it. Although I've done like through I've received Reiki certification,
Mhm,
but I haven't combined it with sound. Although I have experienced it with other facilitators.
mhm,
I just think that it's really powerful and you can do it, but just that it's not my preference. I
mhm.
just focus on sound and meditation and silence rather than doing like everything all at once, but it can be done and it's really powerful. Yeah.
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 Yeah. What's your favorite instrument? I see that you do a bunch of different stuff. So what would you say is your most like fun to play?
Well, yeah, I like singing bowls, but my favorite instrument is piano. I don't play piano.
Mm.
I haven't learned to play it. I don't play any musical instrument other than singing bowls and drums. But
Wow.
yeah, unfortunately, but piano is my absolute favorite. And like classical music, like Rachmaninoff and some like Mozart piano concertos are like my absolute favorite music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To someone who has never been to or like had sound healing, how would you explain kind of like the difference in instruments compared to, like a guitar or like drums, like, a real drum set? Like, how would you
Yeah.
kind of describe
So
that?
musical instruments are made for making music, like combining with different instruments and like different notes, and it's like a hierarchy of notes, basically
Mhm.
music, like organized sounds. But sound healing is more like it's like continuous and it's more like intention based music, sound or music.
Mhm.
And I think the most popular sound healing instruments are singing bowls, didgeridoos, also drums, maybe shamanic drums. But
Mhm.
yeah, singing bowls are, in my opinion, the most efficient ones because the sound is very specific and
Mhm.
you don't have any other instrument that makes the same sound. So it kind of penetrates our mind and body and does the work. So it's different. So it's like this sustaining sound, which is
Mhm.
like very different from music and other instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Is a crystal singing bowl the same as just like a singing bowl, a sound bowl, or is the crystal part different? Does it
Yeah.
make
So
it something else?
there's a difference. So singing bowls are really old. They're like metallic bowls. Like
Mm.
sometimes they call Tibetan bowls, like
Mm,
thousands
mhm.
of years old, and the sound is a little bit different. But crystal bowls are coming from the late 80s. It's like a byproduct of computer industry. Like
Mhm.
somebody was just figuring out that the places where they baked the chips, it can make sound, and it then transformed into a singing bowl. So crystal singing bowls are definitely modern instruments, just like handpans. But singing bowls, like the metallic singing bowls, are like thousands of years old.
Mm. Interesting. I think I know the difference. The crystal ones are like the white kind
Yeah,
of. They look kind of white.
they
Okay.
can be white and transparent and colorful, and they're like different vendors are doing different like
Mm.
products. But it's like crystal. It's like glass. It's like it's almost like glass. So yeah.
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 I've used both, but I didn't realize I was using different things. I just thought they were in different shapes. So good thing to know for myself. Um, I know you also make the binaural beats. Like I know that's like a huge thing now. Maybe it's just my algorithm and that making its way in. But there's so many different frequencies online, so what should people be looking for if they're trying to pick one?
Yeah, so I've actually moved beyond all these frequencies and all these like hertz and brain waves because yes, I studied it for many years and practiced and everything, and people are writing about it, and it's really hot topic right now.
Mhm.
But and people then come to my workshop and ask, what should I use and what kind of sound should I listen to? And my first answer is just explore and experiment. And
Mhm.
intellectual information is not helping us to heal, although we need to
Mm.
learn and know like some specifics, but it comes down how do I feel and how does it make me feel.
Mhm.
And if I, for example, prefer like a didgeridoo or like a singing bowl instead of something else and it makes me feel great, that's awesome. So yeah, I would just suggest like to skip all the technical parts and all the intellectual information and just listen to the sound and then feel it. How does it feel? And if it feels healing and liberating, then it's true for you. And if it's
Yeah.
not, just look something else.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that answer because a lot of times people may see this frequency is for this and this frequency helps you with that.
It's
And they
too
may be doing
complex.
it
It's too
like,
complicated. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it gets so complicated when sometimes I'll put one on, or I used to anyway. I would put one on and I'm like, I'm not feeling this at all.
Yeah.
Like it's not connecting with me, but maybe I should be listening to it, especially with the influx of influence that's out there right now.
Yeah.
People like, you have to do this and then you're going to get this, like the manifesting and whatever. You need to listen to this hurts.
Yeah.
And it just is so much information. So that's a great way to put it. Just listen to what feels good. Listen to what
Absolutely.
makes
Yeah.
you happy.
Just listen, and it needs to just keep it really simple. Like simplicity always works. When it's
Yeah.
complex, probably not true. It's just beyond. So it's not true. Like
Mm-hmm.
simplicity works.
That's a great mirror to just life in general. We overthink it and think it has to be something complicated, when at the end of the day, does it feel good? Yeah, go with it. It doesn't feel good? No, you don't have to go with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
For the beats, do you have to listen with 2 headphones, or can you just play it out loud?
No, for the binaural beats, you need to have like headphones, and one is like, let's say 300 hertz, and another is 330, and then the difference is 30 hertz. That's binaural. It's like playing 2 different tones, and then it's like aligning in your head, in your brain. So that's how it basically works. But yeah, like I said, there are lots of complex stuff out there. But if it doesn't feel you great and feel you healing, then it's not true for you. So you should move on, find something different.
Yeah. And so you said you don't make those anymore, right?
No, I don't like, I just found it's just too complex, and just, experimenting that, like just simple meditation and chiming and just playing with a single, like singing bowl is more like powerful, because it's coming from the heart and it's very grounded.
Yeah.
But lots of very technical stuff. It's like the mind comes up with very complex concepts. And wants to build and wants to create, and AR and VR and all the fancy stuff. But it's just more intellectual, and it takes us further from grounding and centering and the heart. So I would just suggest just to stay as simple as possible, and just to relax and listen to something very, very basic. Basic always works.
Yeah. Just go back to the simple things, and you'll be led to what's meant for you. We don't have to overcomplicate everything. How do you think, like, being a sound healer has influenced your spiritual journey, if it has at all?
I think it has influenced me a lot. So actually, it's just transformational, because I started as like a corporate sales and marketing guy, like just overthinking and just anxiety and everything. And just a few years, it was a long journey actually. Like multiple years it took until I felt like I'm centered again. So it just helped me to purify and become really clear about myself, and most important, becoming aware of my thoughts and feelings and sensations and perceptions. Before, I was just like a robot, just following and not even being aware what am I thinking, being like a victim and like identifying with the thoughts. But doing this sound healing work has been really helping me to really regain clarity and become more aware of everything. Just awareness, gaining more awareness.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, to be aware and to wake up into the life that you're actually living in.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't say that. So that's just a beautiful experience that you were able to have. What do you think your best experience as a facilitator has been? Have there ever been like boom moments with clients?
So this is actually a funny story. Like many years ago, I was in Boulder, Colorado, and one friend of mine invited me to come to a house party to play the bowls. And I said, no, this is not the instrument for the party, because party is so different energy. So it's not probably a good idea, but I still went. And the house was full of people. They were all drinking, and there was loud music and like very hectic and like really strange place. And my friend said, okay, set out your bowls and just start playing. Okay, I did that. And within like 10 minutes, everything calmed down. The music was stopped. People gathered around me. Nobody shouted or invited anything. They just came to me like bees to the hive. And then I played for half an hour, and then I left, and people were like so like centered and calm and grateful and everything. So the noise it just was wiped out completely. So that was like the most magical experience, when I felt, okay, this is really working.
Yeah, that sounds so fun, because especially when you're in that space, with a bunch of chaotic people and
Yeah.
chaotic energy going around, and you had the power to just kind of bring everyone to a state of peace.
Yeah.
It's awesome. What a good tool to have. I have the singing bowl, not the crystal sound bowl. I have a singing bowl, and this is like inspiring me to go home and just do some cool stuff with it. I love it.
Yeah.
So if you were in front of the entire world, and you could say anything, and they're all listening, all paying attention, what would you say, or maybe do, since you're a sound healer?
To anybody in the world?
To, like, if you're in front of the entire world, you know, and you have one message to like give them, to tell them, what would it be?
Yeah, my main and only message is observe your mind and stop thinking. Be aware of presence inside you. Be aware. That's it. When you are aware, you are the master of life, and you are, flowing. You are in the flow state instead of being the victim. So just be aware and notice the presence, which is you, essentially. Yeah.
I love that. It's so like soft. It feels very soft. So where could anyone find you? I know you're on Insight Timer. Where else can people find you, and how would they look you up?
Yeah, so they can find me on Spotify and Apple Music and Insight Timer, and also Aura Health is the new app which invited me to publish my recordings. And my website and Instagram, and yeah, that's it. So I will be sharing more recordings later this year. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll be looking forward to it. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I know it's nighttime there, right?
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it was so nice connecting with you. I love all of your pictures. I love your beats. I love your noises. It's just been really awesome to see all of it. And I'm excited for everything that's going to come out too. Dropping some new stuff that's going to be exciting. And I want to say that I'm really proud of your growth. I know that I haven't
thank you.
known you for a long time, but to know that you made it from the marketing world and have just expanded and took the risk to jumping into something new is something that I appreciate and that I see in you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.